Hello, my friends. Amberlynn uploaded her weigh-in, episode 8, and it's titled Prescribed a New Medicine After In and Out of Hospital. And honestly, I don't really know what to make of that, so let's just see what her weigh-in is. I'm gonna bet she's gonna claim she's losing weight, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's just see what she says. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not gonna lie.
Hello, welcome to another weigh-in video. Let's get straight into the 5 questions. Do you realize that wrap from Chick-fil-A is 660 calories? So no, it is not 660 calories. It is only 660 calories when you get the lime ranch with it. I'm not a lime girly, and you guys also know that I am a dry girly pop, so I actually eat the wrap just plain with no dressing at all. So with no dressing at all, the calories are 350.
All right, so I'm just gonna ignore the dry girly pop nonsense. What a schmuck. But anyway, so I don't tend to like to go to Chick-fil-A, but every once in a while after baseball practice, my son likes to go. And we went today. So I just happened to look at the menu, and sure enough, it says 350 calories without dressing. So yeah, she was actually right about that. That sounded a little weird to me, but it's true. It is 350 calories without the dressing. The problem is, we know she's eating far more than just one wrap from Chick-fil-A, right? She's getting cookies, she's eating fries, and just eating a ton of food. I think people tend to take for granted just how much weight 500 pounds is, especially for somebody her height. I mean, she's what, 5'3", 5'4"? So there's just no way on earth that all she's eating is one wrap from Chick-fil-A and just like a kale salad or whatever she's claiming. So while she is right about the calories, I think she's also lying about how much she's eating aside from the wrap. Do you realize how proud I am of you for your last What I Ate Today video? Why? Is it the one where she's talking about her relationship with food and learning her relationship with food?
Do you realize how proud I am of you for your last What I Ate Today video? So I had to add this because I just thought that was super sweet, and I appreciate people acknowledging that I really am trying. I am not the type of girly pop that thinks that tough love is the right answer, because for me, tough love makes me revert and it makes me fail. I am more of a girly pop that needs support and kindness.
She is 34 years old. She is a girly pop that needs to stop living in Delulu land. She's not trying.
People acknowledging that I really am trying.
She thinks about trying. You know, she thinks about it a lot. But she has never actually tried anything. Because to try something means you have to, like, really put some effort in. But she doesn't. She thinks she is. And that's the problem, is she has convinced herself that doing a thing for a day or two is trying, is putting in some effort and really working hard. But she has never worked hard at anything. So all that kind of message is doing, the whole I'm proud of you, is just allowing her to live in her delusion even longer. It's bad for her. It doesn't help. She will say that tough love will cause her to backtrack or whatever, but I'm guessing that regular love also makes her backtrack. Whether it's tough love or regular love or enabling, she will use any of those things as an excuse for why she just can't do it, you guys. You know, she tries real hard, but she can't do it because people are too mean, too nice, too whatever. It's not her fault. It's society.
That's what keeps me going. I know some people can do tough love and they hate the like soft love approach, but that's not me.
But how does she know? She acts like there has been something to help her actually succeed. But she's never succeeded at anything. So how does she know that the soft love approach actually helps? Because I don't see any progress. I don't see that it's actually caused anything positive. She is sitting here acting like she's already on the other side of the weight loss journey, which, again, and I reiterate, there is no finish line for weight loss. But she's acting like she's already succeeded and can sit here and say, this is what worked for me. Like, nothing has worked for you.
How do you feel about loose skin? Years and years and years ago, in my early 20s, I hated the thought of it, but I'm definitely different now. I think loose skin shares a journey and it shows strength. For anyone that has loose skin, like, you are beautiful. And that is literally just like an award. It's a medal that shows like you were once in such a difficult spot and you put in the work to fix it. Nothing to be ashamed of, and you're beautiful regardless. The only issue for me is I'm afraid of like, because I've heard people saying that it hurts and you get rashes and things like that. So that's the only like downfall and thing that I'm afraid of. My thoughts.
Well, the good news is she's never going to have to worry about that because she is too delusional and too set in her ways and too stubborn to ever actually get to the point where she's going to have any loose skin. She's just not.
Thoughts on it. I have no negative thoughts on it. How society feels though, people can be really harsh and cruel about it. There are so many shallow people out there, but you know what? If I can be loved and people can find me attractive at 500 plus pounds, then I know that I can be loved and accepted and found attractive even with loose skin.
She is terrified of having loose skin. I don't think that's what's keeping her from losing weight, you know, the fear of loose skin. But I think it is part of it. I think that the fact that she loves food, the fact that she doesn't want to do anything hard, and the fear of loose skin all kind of combine to keep her where she's at. Does eating sweets make you tired?
Does eating sweets make you tired? I've never really been the type to get tired after eating. I know people like to say that happens like on Thanksgiving and such, but I've never really had that issue, so no. How many diet sodas do you have now versus when you didn't drink water? So I've pretty much cut it in half. So before I started drinking water, I'd probably have like 6 diet sodas a day, like the cans, and like sometimes like a fountain drink would replace a couple of.
That's a lot. Holy crap, 6 a day? Dadgum.
The cans, but now I'm just having a couple a day.
So again, she's acting like she is now a water expert, you know? Way back when you didn't drink water, how were things back then? Like, she doesn't understand what long-term really even means. I would be surprised if she drinks as much water as she's claiming. And even if she does, I don't think that's going to last all that long because she thinks a few weeks is a long time, but it's really not.
So now we're going to talk about my goals for last week and if I succeeded in those. So my first goal was do not weigh in daily because I was doing that on Noom. I was weighing daily and I told myself to wait till Tuesday and I was successful in that. So yay.
And again, she sets these really stupid, arbitrary goals like don't weigh daily and then says, yay, I'm so proud of myself for not weighing daily. Like, I understand the desire to weigh daily, but that's not like an accomplishment that you didn't weigh daily, you know? But she's proud of herself for basically nothing. She's always proud of herself for basically nothing. She also looks kind of high in this video. I don't know if you've noticed, but her eyes are a little droopy. And I know she admits that she's vaping the Delta 8, which, why would she do that? Why would she vape Delta 8 knowing it gives her the munchies? I don't know, man. I just don't understand the logic when you are dangerously overweight and then you're doing something that causes you to want to eat even more. Like, oh man, she really is into Lululand.
Next goal was work on my relationship with food, and I was also successful in that.
What does that even mean? You guys, I worked on my relationship with food. I just did. My relationship with food. Yep, it's been worked on. And this is why she's never going to get anywhere, because she pats herself on the back for literally doing nothing. Worked on my relationship with food. I mean, just think about it a little bit, I guess.
Third goal was make an appointment with my doctor, and I did, but unfortunately it's a month from now. And now I'm going to talk about my goal for this week. I simply want to continue working on my relationship with food. I want to choose foods that will be good for my body in moments where I would normally choose foods that probably wasn't the greatest for me. It is going to be a moderation. So I'm not telling myself, oh, you can never have these things. It's just have them in moderation, but make sure you are fueling your body. Eating things like salads, vegetables, fruits.
If she was able to do that, if she could just convince herself to eat the right foods in the right portion sizes, she would have done it by now. How does she not understand she is not capable of doing it on her own? This is the delusion I'm talking about. I mean, that's basically like saying, I'm going to write a song that's going to be a huge hit on the radio. All I have to do is just write a really good song and sing it really good. Yeah, knowing what to do does not mean you're going to be able to do it.
So now let's talk about how my week went. So I have been in and out of the hospital for the last like 2 to 3 days, and it has been pretty hard on me.
So now she's claiming she's been in and out of the hospital for several days, and I just don't buy that. I mean, think about this. She filmed herself in the hospital, and talked about it when there wasn't really anything to talk about. The tests came back fine. I mean, she did have some chest pain, which again, it is good to go to the doctor if you have chest pain, so that's not a problem. But there was nothing wrong with her, right? It was a false alarm. So if she was really in and out of the hospital as much as she's saying, you know she would be talking about it. She would be giving details, telling us all about her experience, and probably filming herself throughout the whole thing. So I just don't buy it. I think she decided to say that she's been in and out of the hospital because she thinks that will garner her much more sympathy than her just single trip to the hospital in which nothing really happened.
I have had so much anxiety and worry, confusion and fear.
The tests came back fine. According to her, there was no sign of any danger in her tests. She had an elevated D dimer, which is pretty common when you've had an infection like cellulitis. It can be a sign that you have, blood clots and things like that, but there are a lot of things that can elevate your D dimer, including infection and including obesity. And obviously this isn't medical advice or anything like that, but the doctor told her that it's nothing to worry about, but she's worrying about it anyway. And I think it's because she just wants that sympathy and she wants to be the victim.
Bothering me, obviously, would bother anyone. And honestly, seeing my mom as stressed out as she has been because she's been worrying about me, it makes me feel really, really bad. So I normally, during moments like this, would turn to food, stuff my face, be an emotional eater, harder than ever before. But I have actually chosen to use this to drive me into making better choices.
Man, I've never heard that before. She's had 500 wake-up calls, a ton of health scares that have, quote-unquote, driven her to make better choices for a day or two. Even actually having the C word and having to have a hysterectomy was not enough to cause her to actually make any long-term changes.
So since the whole hospital things have happened recently, so in the beginning of the week, I have still chosen not the greatest things out of habit, but I have also been consciously choosing good things as well. This is a learning curve.
She's been doing this for 12 years or more, basically her whole life, honestly. And even if she does make a couple of good choices, how long is that going to last? She's not able to make a change that will last long term. And that's what she just does not understand. No matter how much she claims to know about nutrition and claims to know about really anything, she just does not understand. These are choices you're going to have to make on a regular basis for the rest of your life. Even after it becomes habit, it's something you have to do forever. That's what they mean when they say it's a lifestyle change. That's actually true. You have to change the way you approach food forever. And she is not capable of doing that.
And I've actually been enjoying it. I was counting calories for weeks and I'm over it. I hate counting calories. It is possible to build a good relationship with food and lose weight while doing so. But having to count every single calorie I was eating, it was becoming exhausting and overwhelming. And I found that I was actually...
Yeah, duh. How did we know that as soon as it came out of her mouth? I'm counting calories. Every single person who knows anything about Amberlynn was like, no, you're not. You're going to get so tired of that so fast. You're going to hate it and you're going to quit because that's what she does. How did we all know that? And she was convinced she was going to be able to do it. It's so obvious and it's so delusional at this point. I wonder if it's just her trolling. All of this kind of stuff where she's talking about her relationship with food. I almost think it's a joke at this point. Because it's so dumb to hear her talk about it when we all know she's done this 1,000 times.
Actually making better choices, not counting calories. And on some days I was actually eating less than I normally would have while counting calories. Because when I count calories, sometimes I find oh, I have so many calories left over. Let me eat 2 candy bars. But it's while I'm not counting calories and I'm purposely trying to choose better things for me, I don't have that weird excuse in my head anymore. It's all a mental game and I'm learning how to just navigate through it. So
the problem is she will find any excuse, whether there are numbers involved or not. She will just come up with any reason that she should eat a thing that she wants to eat. And nothing is going to stop her. She's just going to eat what she wants to eat. And she may have a day or 2 or 3 where she eats pretty decently. She makes some good choices. but it's not going to work long term. And I just don't believe that she's making enough good choices to actually make a difference. And of course, she will always blame the Dimas for not losing weight, but it's just her eating habits, right? She doesn't understand portion sizes because she thinks she needs to get full when she eats. Every time she eats, she needs to get full. But that's not how you're going to lose weight. You need to eat enough to not be hungry. But she can't get to that point, right? She can't find that moment without help.
Last weigh-in, I was 516.2, and this weigh-in, I was 513.0. So that means I'm down 3.2 pounds. I'm surprised I lost any weight, to be honest, because my legs are very inflamed. I actually got prescribed an inflammation medicine. They told me to only take the inflammation medicine, like, if I want to, because they understand that having lipedema and lymphedema, like, you're gonna have this inflammation regardless.
It's those Dimas, man. That's why she's never gonna lose weight. She's got the Dimas. That'll do it. Which I understand it's harder to lose weight when you have the Dimas, which, reminder, I have an interview that I'm working on editing right now. The interview has actually already taken place, and it was with a guy who is an expert on GLP-1s, the science behind it and stuff like that. He's actually a scientist. He's not a doctor. He works on trials as far as like GLP-1 interactions with your body and the lymphatic system. So he is familiar with lymphedema and things like that. And he is also a gorlworld connoisseur, if you will. And it is very interesting to hear his take on all this stuff. So when she's talking about lymphedema, well, let's just say we have some information on that coming soon. But I do understand, having possibly lipedema, that she will struggle a little bit more than others to lose weight. But it is still possible if you do what you're supposed to do. But she just refuses to do what anybody else tells her to do. She is only going to do what she has convinced herself is the right thing for her, because she thinks that her body is so unique and so special that no advice from anybody else is going to do anything for her. You know, it has to be what she knows is right for her because she's just so unique. And she's even said that she doesn't want to listen to experts because they all have differing opinions.
I think what's really frustrating is, like, I have seen all sorts of different professionals because of my weight, and they all give contradicting advice. And I think it's because everyone is different, and what works for someone else might not work for the second person in line. I think every advice that I have got is something that could work for somebody, but it is crazy how all professionals give different advice. A good example of that is, like, because I do suffer with eating, when I was going to an eating outpatient program, they told me that the very thing that will make me continue overeating and having that eating is counting calories. So they told me not to do it. They told me to give in to my cravings. And let's just say if I go see Dr. Now, for an example, he would tell me to only eat 1,200 calories, which is like so. He would be telling me not to eat carbs, etc., etc. But then say I go to a nutritionist, they'd be teaching me how to eat all the food groups, including carbs. Like, it's just like a vicious circle of, like, all professionals are right. Like, obviously they're professionals for a reason, but they all contradict each other, and it's definitely confusing.
Yeah, because you're really not supposed to just see a bunch of random different doctors and different specialists that don't communicate. That's where you're going to get conflicting advice. It's best to see either just one doctor that can give you the right advice or a team that can communicate and attack it from all angles. But I think we all know she doesn't want to listen to experts because they are all telling her to do stuff that she doesn't want to do.
So we're going to see. So it's like, do I want a relief just for like a very short amount of time? It's a weird concept because it's not like I can just be on inflammation medicine for the rest of my life. That's just not the way it works. I just wanted to ease some of my inflammation for a little bit, and I appreciate that. But I genuinely don't see the point in even taking it if it's only going to be for a week and then I have to just go back to feeling like shit again. I don't know. But that is the end of my weigh-in. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Got her. This is just filler content for her, right? It's the same crap we've heard for years. Once she gets tired of doing a specific thing to help herself, then she goes into this nebulous, I'm just gonna make better choices. You know, I'm working on my relationship with food. Because there's no way to measure that, right? And that's good for her. She doesn't want anybody to be able to tell her she's doing it wrong because there's not anything really happening. She can just claim she's working on her relationship with food by doing anything really, You know, she's eating a cheeseburger. Well, maybe you shouldn't be eating that. I'm working on my relationship with food, and I'm not going to deny myself the things that I want, because if I do, then I can end up, you know, reverting or backtracking.
Because for me, tough love makes me revert.
So eating what she wants is working on her relationship with food. And she somehow has convinced herself that she's just going to be able to make better choices all of a sudden, when she hasn't been able to do that her whole life. But now, yeah, for sure. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. But we all know that none of this matters because it's not going to last. Nothing for her lasts long term, even when there are actual serious health scares. And this recent hospital trip was a nothing burger, right? She had some chest pain, and that sucks, and it's scary, and it's good that she went to the hospital. That's what you should do if you have chest pain. But it turned out to be nothing. But even then, it should have been a wake-up call. It should get you into the mindset of, maybe I should make some better choices, but it won't. It won't change anything, especially since there was really nothing wrong. So the bottom line for Amberlynn is she will always do what she wants to do. She will never listen to advice about what she needs to do. She will go to the grave doing what she wants to do. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.